Hey guys, it's Wahima, but just call me Wah. Melanated! Welcome to my recap of Love After Lockup, Life After Lockup, Season 2, Episode 20. Alright you guys, don't forget to check out my merch below and give this video a thumbs up. Let's jump right into this recap. This was a good, concise episode. Okay, so the first couple that we're going to start with is actually the throuple. Meghan, not Markle, Michael, and Sara. So we start off this episode where we left off last episode with Michael leaving supposedly to go to New York to be there for the birth of his baby Wherein. It turns out that WeTV, Matt Sharp TV, psyched us out and he went to go talk to his PO the day of to ask if he could get a day pass to go to Rochester, New York, and the PO said no. And so he's pissed off. He's so mad that he can't even do his interview with the cameras after he gets out of the PO's office. You know, I just don't understand people who don't take personal responsibility for the choices that they have made. You know what? Yes, it does suck that the PO did not allow him to go see his baby. But obviously, Michael didn't do all that he could have done to be there for the birth. If Michael had asked his PO before time, I think that his PO might have been more apt to say yes. Michael still made choices that led to this outcome. He still was the one who wasn't on time or didn't go see his PO before he went to pick up Meghan. All of these things, like, it's all his fault. He's not a responsible human being, and that's what happens when you're not a responsible human being. So he does make the best choice, which is to not break parole, break his tether, and go to Rochester anyway. He goes home, but he's very upset. He flips the lawn furniture to show how mad he is. So the next thing we have is Sara and Emmy on their way to the hospital. So Sara is packing her bags, she's put it in the trunk, Emmy is driving her there to the hospital and they're talking about it, and Sarah's like, have you ever seen a child being born? And Emmy's like, yeah, I've seen those pictures you forced me to look at, girl. It is traumatizing. I saw my nephew being born. I was traumatized. It was so beautiful, but gross. Sara says that Michael wants someone to FaceTime and like put the camera there so that he can see, and Emmy's like, who's gonna do that? FaceTime who? Who's gonna be holding that camera for the FaceTime? I know it's not gonna be me, because I'm not gonna be there supporting you just to help him watch the birth. So, and Sarah's like, oh, I don't want a camera faced at my vagina anyway. And Emmy's like, yeah. And I was right there with Emmy. I was like, yeah, girl. You're talking to the wrong party, girl. Not me. I've been done told you to leave his ass. So Wherein is born. She looks like the perfect little alien, as all newborns look like. She's got a lot of beautiful black hair and it's just so cute. Sara is just excited and she calls Mike, and for some reason Mike is in the dark. I guess he's real sad, girl. He's drawn all the curtains. He's in the absolute dark. Meanwhile, she is in a sunny hospital room. He's talking to the baby via FaceTime and it's a really sweet and cute moment. Next, then we cut to Meghan, who is out on her veranda looking into the Texas distance and thinking about Mike, presumably. And she sits down at her table and she gets a text message, and it simply is a text message from Mike of baby Wherein. And then he FaceTimes her a short while later and she's kind of nervous, you know, she's flipping her hair trying to make sure she looks cute, and she asks him, you know, like, what do you want to do? Do you want to try to pursue a relationship with your wife, or what's happening? And he's like, my only concern right now is my daughter. And she's like, well, you just let me know what you want to do. I was with Meghan and I was like, I understand we're all in love, but at this point he's sending her baby pictures of his wife's and his child, and she's waiting on him to tell her what the next move is, as opposed to just making a choice for herself. And I feel bad for her, but now I can't sympathize with her anymore. Now I just don't understand the situation. And she says it, I'm just gonna wait for him, you know, just to let me know. If that's what you want to do, then I'll go, but if you don't want that, then I'll stay. And I'm just like, girl, making a fool for real, so what are you gonna do? Sometimes Not Markle just confuses me so much, because I just don't understand why she doesn't have the esteem to move forward. Like, I understand being in love, I really truly do, but to wait on him seems very counterproductive for her own life and her own path, you know? To wait for a man who has lied to you and has 2 kids by his wife, who the second kid completely blindsided you because he came out of prison and got her pregnant when y'all was together. And she gonna say on camera that her boyfriend's wife just had a baby. It's like she wants to be a sister wife, and I don't get it. Speaking of sister wives, the next couple that we're gonna talk about, Lamar and Andrea. So in this segment for them, it was frustrating to watch them because I think Andrea is just ridiculous, but I do think that she had a point of view. So Lamar's all dressed up, she's all dressed up, and they're on their way to his brother's house, Dulo. Dulo lives in some cute little neighborhood, I don't know where. Andrea in her confessional is like, ooh, I'm so excited to see Dulo. I'm so happy to see my husband's family. Nah. And I'm just like, why was that even necessary? Whatever. So she says that she's going to his family's house just to be supportive of him. And I thought, okay, this is very good. They get there and Dulo and the fam has been smoking. So they walk into the house and it smells like weed. And Andrea is immediately rude and immediately uncomfortable. She says, see, I told you they was gonna do this. And she sits down on the lowest couch I have ever seen. I don't know how she got up, girl. I don't know how she got down. That couch was low. And she is low-key talking about these people in their face like they're not sitting there listening to her, talking to Lamar about them. Like, I told you they were gonna do this. See, I'm not here for that. I'm allergic to smoke. I can't be in here. Blah, blah, blah. And so she's like, I'm leaving. So she gets up. She's there for 5 minutes. She hugs the brother, hugs the brother's son, says hello to some chick that's sitting on the couch too. And then they're all smoking and like, you know, with the blunts and just like have drinks in their hand. And Lamar comes in and sits down and like, I guess they're about to have a little kickback. I don't know why they wasn't sitting outside or something, but Andrea immediately got up out of that situation because she felt the devil was on her heels, girl. She could not be in that environment. And maybe it's because I'm from California, and maybe because the culture here is just so different, and maybe because I don't think weed is like crack. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I get it that it's her religion. She says she teaches Sunday school, that she's a part of leadership in church, and she cannot be around this because she teaches her kids to not be around this kind of environment. And I think to myself, there are plenty of church-going people who hang out with their family who smoke weed. Now, they may not like it, but they do it. And I respect her decision to not do it, but what I don't respect is her getting up and leaving. She could have said, you know what, you guys, I'm uncomfortable being around all this smoke. Can we go outside? You know, I want to be supportive of Lamar and his family, but this just isn't me. I'm uncomfortable. But she went outside and was like, why would you put me in this situation? Why would you have me break down my integrity? I'm a leader in the church. I'm not supposed to be around anybody drinking or smoking. I think this is why the Mormons tend to be very insular, because they want to stay away from all of that. And so if their family isn't Mormon and is going to be doing things, they don't really hang out with them as much because of that. And I just think that that's a detriment to the family. Now, I can understand her being upset about the weed smoking. I do. But I think she could have handled it in a better fashion. And Dulo even apologized. He came outside and he said, I had no idea that this was the case. I'm really sorry. You know, you can come back in. She's like, I'm not going back in there, as though it was a den of sin. It was so bizarre, her reaction. And Lamar says that her reaction was disproportionate to the situation at hand. And she's like, no, it wasn't. I'm never coming over here again. You can stay. And Lamar's like, no, we came together. We're going to leave together. So they leave together and she's just like, I don't want to be around these people. That's what I'm talking about. It's too much. She takes it too far and says things that are just so inappropriate and rude that I can't be on her side. And then they get back to the house and she explains herself a little bit more. She says that she's lonely here in LA and she's here because he couldn't parole in Utah. Yeah, because the state of Utah wasn't trying to be in control of Lamar. They did not want responsibility for Lamar, so they wasn't going to let him parole there. And she's like, you need to come to Utah and see that environment, and I think that you'll like it there. And I'm just like, he's not going to like it. She's like, oh, he needs to leave this gangbanger lifestyle. And I'm like, I didn't see any gangbangers. I think she's just used to this very specific environment that anything else feels like it's devilry. And I don't agree with that, because to me, I could see her not wanting to be, but there was no environment that I saw. I didn't see no 40s. I didn't see any loud music. Nobody was hanging out in the front. You know what I'm saying? That nobody was playing dice. There wasn't any cars driving by, you know, bouncing up and down. I don't know what she was talking about with this gangbanger lifestyle. Nobody was sitting on the corner with somebody named Boo Boo. Like, what are you talking about, miss? You're not, this was not gangbanger lifestyle. Just because there wasn't word art all over the house and all the furniture wasn't white or steel or, you know, country rustic, doesn't mean that you were in a gangbanger situation or lifestyle. She's like, I gave everything up to be with you, and you don't understand the sacrifices that I've made. And he's like, I made sacrifices too. I came out of prison after being in there for almost 20 years to a whole family. And she's like, that was your choice. And he's like, I know it was my choice, but it was still a sacrifice. And she's like, well, then you just need to make a decision. And I'm like, Andrea, you have been holding him down for 4 years. Had he come out and seen this situation and decided to bounce, you would have been very upset with him. So he is trying to honor his commitment to you. And now you're telling him that you can't handle this and that he needs to move to Utah and that you need to go be around your friends. Girl, make some friends in LA. There are white Mormons here that you can make friends with. It's too much. What church is she going to? Why hasn't she tried to build a community? There are I grew up next to a Latter-day church. So there are plenty of Mormons in California that she could be friends with. And it doesn't feel like this is a reason for her to break up their marriage. But for him it is, because he's not about to stay in Utah. And I don't want him to either. Funny, because she did say that if he wants a wife to do that, then he's going to have to get another wife, and that sister wife can handle that. But as far as I know, many Mormons who aren't a part of the polygamy part of Mormonism don't talk about polygamy in such casual light because they're trying to distance themselves from it. She got on TV talking about the sister wife, and I was like, ooh, what the congregation gonna think about that? Okay, so the next couple that we're going to talk about is Marcelino and Brittany. So the bottom line with this is they're arguing again because Brittany wants to make Sasha Zoila's godmother, and Marcelino doesn't think it's a good idea. Brittany says that is her only friend, her best friend, and making Sasha the godmother of Zoila is going to give Sasha something to look forward to. And I see Brittany's point of view, but I also see Marcelino's point of view because it's like, well, she already has an uphill battle because her mother has a dark past, and now you want her godmother to have the dark past too? Why can't she just have a godmother who's a better example than the both of you? I mean, unless you guys are really about to have a ceremony, like, to me, if I didn't get baptized as a child's godparent, I'm not really their godparent. Like, what does that even mean? I know in some Catholicism and Christian cultures, being the godparent is an actual role that a godparent takes seriously. And maybe sometimes people do take that shit seriously too. But like, I'm just like, it's just a title, bro. You can actually have two godparents. I did. I had one set of godparents from one side of the family and one set of godparents from the other side of the family. Okay? Did they ever do anything for me? Only one. My Aunt Rosetta was the only godparent and is the only godparent who's ever like actively like done stuff for me, given me money, like counseled me, talked to me about stuff. If something were to go down, that would have been the godparent I went to. And I had 4 of them. So to me, godparents aren't that big a deal, but I see in their family it is. And I'm just like, then give her 2. Or give her a godfather that can be, you know what I'm saying? Like, why do you have to argue about it? Like, Marcelino's trying to make his point. I see it. Sara, what's her name? Brittany. Brittany's trying to make her point, and I see the point too. So then Marcelino is at the park with his mother because his mother has been there to help out with Zoila, which I think is wonderful. I'm so happy that Brittany and Marcelino have help with Zoila. Giovanni's running around and he's referring to Marcelino as dad, and it's really cute. Marcelino tells his mother about the plan for Sasha to be godmother, and listen, Victoria is not down, okay? She is not with it. She kicks the fence and everything. So it's a dumb argument to have. And then on the way back, after speaking with his mother, who got very upset about the whole situation, he decides that he needs to talk to Tito man to man against Brittany's wishes. So they make this really dramatic scene where he like pulls over to the side and turns the van around to get to Tito's house. And it looks like there is going to be fisticuffs next episode, and I'm very excited about it. So the next couple that we're going to talk about is Lizzie and Scott. Okay, so we pick up where we left off last episode. So they're at the beach and Scott has just given her the ring and Lizzie has started to freak out. She's like, basically like, look, Scott, why can't we just get to know each other? Now that I'm out of prison, now that I'm off drugs and I'm clear-headed and I need to like build my own path, I want to just get to know you. I came here to get to know you. Why does it always have to jump to crazy, you're mine, I want to marry you? And he gets upset and he's like, everybody says you're so great and you know, you're a great guy and anybody would be so happy to have you, except for her, the one I want. Just nothing. Dramatic. This man jumps up with his socks on and starts to like speed walk to the water to throw the ring away. And she's like, where are you going? And he's like, it's over. She's like screaming at him like, no, I'll take it. And he's like, no. And he like does like some kind of football dodge of her and then like runs to the water and goes, here's $4,000. Ugh. and throws it. Girl, he doesn't even throw it hard enough because she takes off her shawl, she takes off her coverlet or whatever it is, and then like bounces and runs into the water like boom, 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 boom. And then her like butt is coming out of, I mean, those were her titties. Boom, 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 boom. And then her butt is coming out of the bottom to where they have to blur it out. And she runs into the water to retrieve the box. And the tide brings it back and she gets it. And she's like, I'll take the ring. I brought you here to have a lovely time. And you can't just say, here's this $5,000 ring, you're mine. It doesn't work like that. And then she hugs him and they kiss. And she's like, let's just start over. Let's let the waves just wash away the past. And we're just like, bleh. She's just saying that to him because she sees how upset he is. And then in her confessional, she says, I honestly think Scott is very sensitive. And I hurt his feelings and I feel bad about it. He's like, it wasn't a proposal, it was a promise ring. And I'm just like, we too old for promise rings, sir. Okay, no. Don't give me anything, that's fine. Give me a bracelet. If you wanna give me a promise something, give me a bracelet. Don't give me a ring. And so she placates him, they start to walk back. She acknowledges that she's a black woman because he talks about her hair. And I was like, ooh. For some reason, I thought that Lizzie was just like, I don't know, in the very first season, she made some comment about not dating African-American men. And I just was like, why would you say that out loud? Like, it could be a thing if that's what you feel, girl, but like, don't be on camera telling people you're not, like, that's weird. I know it's your truth, girl, but like in these times, keep your truth to yourself. So then they get back to his house and for some reason, Lizzie decides to go through this man's drawers, okay? His utensil drawers. She goes in there and she finds like a spork and it has some kind of residue in it because he's cochino and doesn't wash his things correctly, or maybe he used some kind of glue on it, girl. I don't know. She is giving Matt Sharp Entertainment what they want. She needs to strike up some drama, so she decides that she's gonna accuse him of cooking crack. And then starts to throw all of his utensils on the ground. He just freaked out at the beach. She says, let's wash everything clear and start over, and then gets to his house and immediately starts to accuse him of using drugs. And he's, again, gets pulled in and starts to argue with her. I'm just like, why are you arguing with her, Scott? Well, you know you don't do drugs. And she's like, I can't be around drug abusers or alcoholics because it's not good for my journey. I'm just like, okay, girl. And then she has this like scene where she talks about putting scriptures on her arms so she doesn't shoot up. And it was very sad because I was just like, ooh, girl, it's one thing to talk about doing heroin. It's another thing to show us your tracks, girl. Oh, no, that's uncomfortable. We're here to have fun. Not talk about your shoot up arms. So last but absolutely not least, we go to Clint and Tracy. They're flying to Vegas and Clint is just adamant about how much he hates flying, girl. And Tracy is so excited to be off parole for the first time in 10 whole years and to not have to worry and to just be her own human being. And Clint is absolutely ruining it for her. Absolutely. He starts being a negative Nancy the minute they get off that plane. She's like, oh my God, babe, look at this and look at that. And oh my God, we have a room with a jacuzzi. Thank you so much. And he's like, remember the last time we had a room with the jacuzzi? That didn't end out too well. And she's like, well, we don't have to talk about that. I know what happened the last time and I'm sorry about it, but we don't have to talk about it. Like, we're in Vegas, let's be excited. And he's just like, well, can I have my feelings? I don't feel excited right now. And she's like, no, it's fine. And then they're in the Uber and they go by the Vegas sign. And she's like, oh, babe, let's get out. I want to take a picture by the Vegas sign. And he's just like, okay. So they get out by the Vegas sign and he's just being negative. And she's just like, why are you so upset? And he's like, well, I'm sorry. I can't be upset about standing in the heat waiting to take a picture. And she's like, ugh. And so then they run to take the picture and it's a selfie and she's really happy about it. And then they're on their way back into the Uber and she says, hi, Elvis, because you know, Elvis impersonator is standing out there and he's like, love you, baby. And Clint's like, well, there he is. Elvis loves you. Go with Elvis. And she's like, oh my God, let's just get you a daiquiri and let's just calm down. It'll be fine. So they get to the hotel, they get in there and she's like, ooh, selfie time. So they're in the hallway and she's excited. They had their bags and she goes to take a selfie and the girl, Stephanie, texts him. And she's like, who's texting you? And I mean, it was just like perfect timing. Who's texting you? She clicks on that text, it's boobs in the text, and the girl is saying, "I'll be your goddess." And Tracy's like, "Clint, who is this? Like, who have you been talking to?" And he's like, "Give me my phone. I don't want to talk about it. I'm not answering these questions." Clint, first of all, why didn't you put that woman on mute or block? Why didn't you block her the minute you decided or had that conversation with your dad? You should have blocked her right away. Why is there a chain of text messages in your phone? Like, this seems so stupid, but it's not set up because Tracy is so pissed. Like, she asks him calmly twice who Stephanie is. He refuses to answer and tells her that he's not going to answer these questions right now, as though he has a leg to stand on. And so she follows him and starts to kick the bag. And they get into the elevator, and then the camera gets in the elevator, but they're still mic'd up so we can hear. And she's like, "I can't believe you did this to me. I can't believe you're cheating on me. Tell me who Stephanie is, blah, 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 blah." They get to the hotel room. She is on him. And she snatches his phone, goes into the bathroom, and slams the door. And I guess she must have locked it with a quickness because Clint is like trying to get in, and he starts to kick the door. Girl, they are damaging that hotel room. And I'm like, I need Alice to see this and to see that it was all Clint's fault. Tracy didn't do anything to him. And he was the one who damaged that hotel room because he has some kind of mental problem, obviously. He does. I mean, there's some kind of bipolar or something going on with him. Depression, manic, there's something going on with him. And he's not taking his medication the way he's supposed to be doing or living his life the way he's supposed to be living it. Because his reaction to that was so dumb. He could have just said, "You know what, babe, I'm sorry. Like, you went in, I started talking to this girl." Like, nothing. He just told her he wasn't going to answer her questions. And I was like, no, answer her questions because you're dumb. And that's where the episode ends. And it ends with her kicking the camera crew out and her slamming the door and looking pissed AF. And I cannot wait. I hope this doesn't make her do drugs again because this is something that could be very, very triggering, and he's such a dumbass. But anyways, you guys, so that's the end of the episode. Let's have a Kiki in it conversation down below and let me know what you thought of it. And I can't wait for 90 Day Fiancé The Other Way, which is coming on a Monday night, which is tonight. All right, you guys, remember to be you, be true, and find your place. Bye.